Hi guys, and welcome to this video on Neptune entering Aries on the 30th of March 2025. I just want to give you a bit of information as to what this means, because it's time now with this shift to wake from the dream and to create the dream and to do both. It's a really interesting dynamic. So Neptune is an outer planet, and unlike the personal planets, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, that have an impact on you specifically as an individual, the outer planets have an influence on generations and they're societal. They influence all of humanity. So Neptune's been in Pisces, the sign that it rules, since 2011, the last 14 years. And that's why we've seen a huge focus on healing the mind and connecting on a spiritual level and healing the soul. Things like hypnosis, EMDR, trauma therapy, a general focus on mental health, and even creativity as a way of healing the mind and the soul. Those have been very much in the spotlight, and those have been seen to be very important. So Neptune initially enters Aries now on the 30th of March this year, and it stays in Aries until the 22nd of October 2025. Then it retrogrades back into Pisces, and then it fully ingresses into Aries on the 26th of January 2026. And it's then going to stay in Aries until March 2039, with a brief retrograde into Taurus in 2038. So you can see that this is really a generational and societal shift, that for the next 14 years now, society is going to place value in very different areas than we've seen up until now. So this is all about putting plans into action. There's going to be more of a focus on the body, on creative expression, but ultimately on getting things done. And from moving from a place of passivity and sitting back and listening and learning and seeing what's coming through, and a shift into being active and making things happen and being the cause rather than responding to the effect. So Pisces is the 12th and the last sign of the zodiac. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So it's like it's been, and it being Neptune, it's like it's been at the end of its journey, and Neptune rules Pisces, so it's very comfortable in that placement. And when it's in Pisces, it has this benefit of hindsight. It's been through the entire journey of the zodiac. It's had all of these different experiences. So when Neptune is in Pisces, it can sit back and say, this is what had value and this is what was meaningful. And I'm now very forgiving of this whole process, and I'm detaching from it, and I'm getting ready for my next assignment. And now for the next 14 years, with Neptune moving into Aries, it's about starting a new life, and it's starting about the whole cycle again and creating new experiences and taking dreams and passions and ideas and putting them into action and getting obstacles out of the way. So expect to see more value and focus on obstacles being overcome rather than focusing on problems and difficulties and things that are unhealed. And expect less compassion for illness and weakness and sitting back and being passive and not doing anything about what it is that you're interested in. The main focus is a celebration of what is healed, what is powerful, what is active, and what really is willing to do the heavy lifting in order to build new structures and to get things done. So the focus and the expectation of personal appearance and strength, that is going to become even more unforgiving and demanding. Attractiveness, health, athleticism, anything that represents strength and being powerful is going to be something that's going to be celebrated on a societal level. And there's going to be much less attention being given to things like illness or weakness or an inability to act and to problem solve. And the reason for that is that Mars, the planet of masculinity and drive, it's also the planet of war, that is the ruler of Aries, and it's going to really oversee this shift, and it's going to say that it's really important for you to get what it is that you want. It's important for you to fight for things that are important, and it's also going to push people to conform to traditional gender roles, particularly the ones associated with masculinity. So strength, never showing weakness, not bursting into tears, being someone who is resilient and unaccepting of failure and getting things done and moving forward no matter what. There's also going to be more aggression, and there's more of a willingness to provoke and to create conflict, and there'll be less willingness to sympathize or to nurture or to comfort. It's kind of like moving into the period of, you know, the gladiators in ancient Rome that were meant to fight and that were celebrated for their strength and ability to beat their opponents. It's not very fair-minded. It's about the strong rule. The people who are toughest, they have the most value. And all of those kind of qualities are going to be the ones that society is going to give a round of applause to. So the last time that Neptune was in Aries was in 1861 to 1875. And there were a lot of significant things that happened during that time that kind of give a taster of what this is all about. And like I said at the beginning of this video, it's about not dreaming anymore. And instead of that, it's about taking the action steps and doing the legwork for dreams to become a reality. So it's not a complete rejection of dreams, but it's about saying, if this is something that is in your mind's eye, if it's something that you find would be ideal, but it doesn't exist just yet, it's now time to make that a reality and to manifest it in earnest. So the first and really most significant thing I would say is that in 1861, the American Civil War started on the 12th of April, 1861, and Neptune moved into Aries the very next day on the 13th of April, 1861. So you see this willingness to fight, this willingness for conflict and for war to occur in order for change to happen. That's something that's going to become much more likely. In 1863, there was the Emancipation Proclamation. So something that seemed like a dream, something that seemed like it was never going to happen, now suddenly does happen. And that's the positives of this. You know, with astrology and the planets and their retrogrades, there are always pluses and minuses to everything. So for example, when Mars, the ruler of Aries, is retrograde, the downside is that there's less energy, that there's less focus, that there's less drive. But the plus side of it is that there is more of a willingness to listen and to reflect and to not be so busy doing things, but instead to look around and to see what's happening around you and to learn from that. 1864, we had the formation of the Red Cross. So an action being taken to say the dream is for humanity to be taken care of and healed, rather than leaving that just as a notion that potentially could happen. Let's actually do it now. 1865, Gregor Mendel publishes the laws of inheritance, So clarity, where before there was only fuzziness and an unawareness. So the laws of inheritance was with the mice that, he wrote about that if two white mice mate, they may have one that has brown dots, and then with brown dots and a black mouse, that the laws of inheritance are in place, that the parents and their physical attributes are going to appear in the body of the next generation, of the offspring of those parents. So something that seemed like a mystery before now had scientific facts and proof to it. 1865, Lewis Carroll publishes Alice in Wonderland. So the dream, but actually writing down the dream and then taking the actions to publish it and to put it into the public consciousness. 1867, Alfred Nobel invents dynamite. So something that was then used in war, and an idea that could really revolutionize society by creating a lot of conflict and giving power to one side, whereas the other side would be far more disempowered. It's those kind of shifts, taking something that is going to give someone a lot of strength and an advantage over the adversary, and also this willingness to see people and societies and countries as us versus them, and the differences, and these are not our friends, these are our enemies, or these are people we ought to fight. 1869, we had the first transcontinental railroad completed in the United States. So again, something that seemed like a dream, to be able to cross the entire continent through hard work and action, for that to be completed and realized, so that people could then travel much further than they ever had before. And that all this willingness to engage in conflict and to do hard work then has a really positive outcome, in the sense that we have much greater reach and we're able to do more and we have more freedoms in life. 1869, the Suez Canal opens. 1870, we had the first commercially sold typewriter. So now, again, the dream of every person having a voice and being able to produce content of their own, that being made a reality, and each individual having more power. So the point that I'm trying to make with giving all these examples is that, yes, it's likely that there will be more conflict, but that the individual will have more power and will also have the ability to realize dreams which before then would have seemed impossible. 1872, the Yellowstone National Park opens. It's the first national park that's ever created. So the desire to take action to conserve something that is dreamlike and beautiful, and that doesn't want to be ruined, and putting boundaries in place and being strong and saying, we're going to conserve this. 1873, blue jeans and barbed wire are invented. So allowing people to keep people out through an object that can cause physical pain and injury. Blue jeans becoming the uniform of the worker, the person who takes action. Again, a symbol of masculinity and a willingness to do the heavy lifting, to do hard work. And then 1874, the British East India Company is dissolved. So taking action as well to dissolve institutions, organizations, and groups that are seen to do a great injustice to other people, and to engage in conflict for more fairness. So you see, it's a double-edged sword. It's more power and less willingness to be compassionate, but it's also a desire to use all of your strength to protect the weak. and to protect things that have no agency or will of their own. So with this shift, what's going to happen is that you're going to be given the power to make your dreams a reality rather than just considering them and keeping them in your own imagination. And that applies both personally to individuals and societally. But the final thing I just want to leave you with as a warning with this shift of Neptune from Pisces into Aries, watch out for cults appearing, that there'll be more people who are incredibly certain of their connection to spirit, that they are the embodiment of some sort of higher being or higher wisdom, and that they become these maniacal gurus who then wield their strength and intimidate and try and control their followers. And I'm not making a joke. So we're entering a period here now where we'll see a lot of progress, but it's a time that is far less gentle, and that's far more about being celebrated and being able to reap rewards when you accomplish things that seem incredibly difficult or even impossible. So there'll be a lot of progress in making the impossible or things that don't make sense just yet, and finding answers around those and making them a reality. So, for instance, the next step in what humanity is able to do would be to send people to Mars, for instance. So that kind of goal would be something that Neptune in Aries would fully support and say, just because it hasn't been possible in the past, in fact, makes this now desirable, and let's make sure that we get a person on that planet. So I just wanted to give you a quick take on this shift because it happens on the 30th of March initially this year, but then it really settles in that placement for the next 14 years in January 2026, and it's something that's going to impact all of us. So I think a way to get ahead of this is to try and strengthen yourself physically, or to take notes now and to consider what it is you've wanted to accomplish, what the dream has been for a long time, where you felt that the manifestation of that or making that real has been completely impossible, and making a list of those things, and then as this shift occurs, seeing different opportunities and kind of being prepared for those and saying, oh, okay, this is now the solution to making my dream a reality, and I can either do that independently, or humanity or society can do that when they band together. So I hope that gives you an idea of my interpretation on this shift of Neptune going out of Pisces and into Aries. I also offer personal readings. I offer personal horoscopes. So if you'd like me to have a look at your natal chart, your birth chart, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. To draw up your natal chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. And with that information, then I have a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born. And that's like a blueprint to who you are. The principle behind that is as above, so below. So the way the planets were positioned at the moment of your birth is an indicator of the type of person you're going to be, what areas of your life are going to be very easy, where you're naturally successful because of certain placements, and areas where you may need to do more work. It also reveals things like life purpose, vocational aptitudes, things like what's destined for you in finance and romantic relationships, family, friendships, hopes and dreams, spiritual development, travel, relationships with authorities and institutions. So if you'd like me to look at your natal chart to give you a kind of personality profile so that you understand yourself more, please do get in touch. I can also look at what's coming up in future by looking at your progress chart and your transits. That shows me how the planets are moving now over your natal chart and how that's going to influence you in future. Also, if it's around your birthday, something that's wonderful is a solar return chart. All I need for that is the location you're in during your birthday this year, and then I can draw up a chart that shows me the key themes from your birthday this year until your birthday next year. And finally, there's also a tool called astrocartography, and that's based on your natal chart, but it just changes the perspective around. So instead of me being on Earth looking up, I position myself in the sky, so to speak, and I see how the planets were moving over different parts of the Earth and how different areas of the Earth are going to impact you. So whether it's a good idea for you to live in London or Paris or New York or Cape Town or Dubai. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. That helps it show up in searches. Subscribe for more videos in future. And if you think this might be of interest to anyone who you know, a friend of yours, a family member, please share the video so that the channel grows. I also do a daily tarot reading on my channel, so if you'd like to watch that, then please consider becoming a member of my channel. I do that every day, so it's 30 or 31 videos every month, and it's very affordable. So if you would like daily guidance, please have a look at that and see if you'd like to become a member. I hope this has given you an idea of what this shift of Neptune has in store for all of us here moving forward. And I hope it doesn't scare you. I hope you're looking at this as a celebration of strength, and when people work together, that the impossible can be achieved. And that as a society, as a race, we can really make huge leaps and bounds and major progress moving forwards. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will speak to you soon.